let's talk about your family, because you are one of how many?
10 children. But hold on. Okay. So my mother and my father had my twin sister Charlotte and I, and Mark. And we're like that little group.
Okay.
And then we moved to America when my parents split up, and with my stepdad, and they had 2 kids together.
Okay.
Annabelle and Alexander.
Okay.
And then my stepdad already had 2 kids, Roman and Christopher. And my father, who's my real dad, who still lives in London, had 3 children, David, Henrietta, and Josh. So there's 10 altogether. It's a clan.
So growing up in a musical family of yours, like, when did you know that was your path, or was it always, apparent to you, like, oh, wow, I want to get into music?
I think I got into music basically just to like have something to talk to my brother, my father, and even my real dad. He had a music publishing company back in the day in England, and he was always obsessed with music. But yeah, I mean, as we got older, like I just pretended to care more about music just so somebody would talk to me. Because Charlotte was like off with her friends, and I was never into fashion, and they were just like, oh, does she have to come too?
You're a twin. What is that like? My husband is an identical twin.
Really?
Yeah.
My sister's dating an identical twin.
But what do you think are like maybe 3 of the best things about being a twin, and 3 of the worst things about being a twin, or annoying things about being a twin?
We're lucky because we're not identical, so
Right.
we never had to like try to figure out our own identities. The best thing about being a twin is having like a built-in best friend for life. Like she knows me inside and out. I know, like I don't even have to like tell her what's wrong. She'll figure it out.
Right.
I was such a loner when we were kids, so like I didn't need friends because I would just. She kindly would let me tag along. Charlotte's very social and she's really good at maintaining friendships, and I just like hide. And so I always have friends to hang out with. And I can be super social, but only if I feel super safe and
Right.
Charlotte's around basically to
Right.
like deflect.
She could do all the work, and then you come in like,
Yeah,
okay,
and just be like,
sweet.
what's up?
Hey everybody. That's cool.
I'll play the soundtrack for you guys.
Doesn't have to be anything bad about having a twin.
We get to work together a lot, which is awesome. I mean, how could there be anything really bad about having a twin?
Oh,
Welcome,
where the magic happens.
the palace, as it's called. Where the tragic happens.
How long have you had the space?
This space I've had for 3 years, which is kind of the main motivation for moving to Venice, was because the schlep from Hollywood and back was just out of control.
So wait, tell me about the album, Chasing the Reds. Where did the title come from?
It was one of the last songs we wrote for the record, and it came from, I think it came from one of these journals. I keep these like weird, little journals. Tell me to follow, then you forget. I'm lost with the light as you race ahead. It literally came straight from like a weird poem that I've written. And I just like the idea of chasing the Reds, because we spend so much time chasing after, or like we're on such a rush. You're driving around LA and it's just like, I'm in such a rush to hit the next red light. Like, what's the point? But at the same time, it's chasing after any crush that maybe wasn't such a good idea in the first place.
Right.
Like when you have a crush on someone, you're like, I'm gonna, and then you're like, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
And I have another song on the record, which is Sometimes When You Win, You Lose, which is basically like the ending of Chasing the Reds, which is like, okay, you won, but you really lost at the end of the day.
Right.
So maybe you gotta, chase after somebody who is riding shotgun.
Well, it's crazy because like you're such a private person, like you're always in the cut, just laid back, and you get thrown into this very public, like
Yeah.
you know, And you're the anti-fame whore, the anti-publicity whore. How did you navigate being such a public?
I just kept my head down.
How?
I mean, physically,
like,
I kept my head down.
Yeah. No,
If you see any picture of me, it's always like, just like scowling and just like trying to just stay as much me as I could in all of that. And it's just like, the whole thing is so absurd to me. I've been DJing for 14 years. And I've had a steady career all the way through. And it was perfectly fine. You just fly under the radar.
So you were under the radar, and then next thing you know, you're
was on
so
Front
on
Street.
blast.
Yeah, it was crazy. I just had like just panic attacks all the time. I lost so much weight. I was just so like, had so much anxiety. It just made it whack. Like all the years I would just go in and out of clubs, and even the paparazzi guys would laugh because they'd seen me for years outside the same club, smoking cigarettes, talking shit, and they'd be like, "I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Don't you feel like a dickhead that you have to take pictures of me now?" They're like, "Listen."
That's what they want.
And my whole deal with all those dudes, because they'd be the same ones outside my house every day, you know? They weren't there for me, you know? And my rule was, if your camera's down, I'll say what's up. Once the camera's in your face, we're no longer cool. But like, I'll be walking with my brother and he's just won like 3 Grammys and you're asking me dumb questions about dumb stuff. I'm like, whatever. It's so mortifying. Like when I'm with my dad and we're leaving like a restaurant and it's just like,
this is my dad.
he sold over 30 million records, like wrote some of the biggest songs of all time, and you wanna ask me some inane question about some inane like
about
pop culture thing that's happening.
Working with your brother, working with your dad, what's the dynamic when you guys are in the studio? Is it hard to work with your brother? Like it's
horrible.
What is that like? Are you more just punching each other?
No,